Tonight on Grady Newsource, a rare visit from Vice President J.D. Vance in Athens, Georgia. Grady Newsource got a TV exclusive interview with the protester who heckled him at the Turning Point USA event.
Excuse me, sir.
And a look into the hidden cost of rising gas prices for local businesses and your wallet.
And standing room only at a mayoral debate where candidates faced off on issues affecting Athens-Clarke County.
Catch all this and more tonight on Grady Newsource.
This is Northeast Georgia's only local source for TV news. From the Grady College of Journalism and Mass Communication, this is Grady Newsource.
Good evening and welcome to Grady Newsource. I'm Science at Cabbage.
And I'm Kate Johnson. The Turning Point USA tour made its second stop last night in Athens at the Aikens Ford Arena with an appearance from Vice President J.D. Vance. Turning Point is a conservative organization founded by Charlie Kirk in 2012 that promotes political activism on college campuses. Grady Newsource reporter Anna Skull has more on this event.
A high-profile visit to Athens Tuesday night as Vice President J.D. Vance addressed a crowd at Aikens Ford Arena with Turning Point USA. Erica Kirk, the TPUSA CEO, was slated to join Vance, but the vice president said she would not be attending due to threats.
Well, first of all, I love Erica, and I know that she did get some threats. And, about 2 hours ago, as you know, Andrew, I was a little worried that we were going to have to cancel the event because Erica was not going to come, and she was very worried about it.
The FBI told Newsource that Director Akash Patel spoke with Vice President Vance and is aware of the situation, offering full support in the investigation. At the event, attendees asked questions screened by Turning Point.
He really thought through what he had to say, and I thought he gave me a good answer. He told me what I wanted to hear, too.
But the vice president was challenged by an attendee shouting from the crowd about the Trump administration's efforts in Gaza.
Like the administration that solved the problem, but the president... Excuse me, sir. Right.
Colin Young, who interrupted Vance, spoke with Newsource after he was escorted out.
I yelled out at JD. I was sitting pretty close. I said, Jesus Christ didn't support genocide. And I was hoping to reach through to a lot of the people in there are really Christian, and so much of TPUSA's message to his followers is trying to get young Christians involved in conservative politics.
Young wasn't the only protester at Aikens Ford Arena. The Young Democrats of UGA, among other left-leaning activist groups, protested outside the arena, drawing a crowd of those in opposition to the vice president and Turning Point USA. UGA alums and local Athens residents joined the protest, holding signs and megaphones to make a statement about the current administration.
As you can see, it's getting a little rowdy over here. That's because people in attendance for the Turning Point event are now exiting.
Tensions rose between crowds as the Turning Point attendees left the venue, but there were no confirmed cases of violence. The next stop for the Turning Point USA tour is in Columbus at The Ohio State University. This is Anna Skull, reporting for Grady Newsource.
Having the vice president in town is more historic than you might think. Grady Newsource reporter Jack Cooney takes a look at past visits from the executive office to UGA in Athens.
Vice President J.D. Vance appeared at Aikens Ford Arena with Turning Point USA yesterday. This begs the question, how rare is a visit to UGA from a vice president?
Several presidents and vice presidents have visited UGA, dating back to William Howard Taft in 1909, and that visit comes with quite a story.
Taft was persuaded to speak at the university by a friend and UGA alum. On his way, he stopped in Atlanta for a feast of possum and sweet potatoes, but the surprises didn't stop there. While Taft took the stage at the UGA chapel in pouring rain, a fire broke out on the roof, making for a memorable visit. Other presidential visits include Franklin Delano Roosevelt in 1938, John F. Kennedy prior to his presidency in 1957, and native Georgian and UGA sports fan Jimmy Carter, who took many trips to the Classic City, most recently in 2007. Vice presidential visits are more rare. Aside from former VP Walter Mondale alongside Jimmy Carter in 2007, there's only one. Sitting Vice President George H.W. Bush spoke as a part of the UGA Bicentennial Convocation in 1984, celebrating the 200-year anniversary of the institution. He later returned to UGA in 2006 after his presidency for the dedication of the Paul D. Coverdell Center for Biomedical and Health Sciences. So J.D. Vance became just the second sitting vice president to stop by Athens, Georgia. For Grady Newsource, I'm Jack Cooney.
Rising gas prices are costing Athens residents hundreds each month. Reporter Andrew Otten breaks down how a global issue is turning into a local struggle.
It winds up being about $500 a month or something, just an extra cost for fuel.
Gas prices are climbing, driven in part by the ongoing war in Iran, which has disrupted global oil supply and pushes prices higher worldwide. Here in Athens, those costs are showing up in unexpected places.
They started adding on a $30 per delivery fuel surcharge. And a few weeks ago, it increased, not to 35 or 40, not to 50, to $55.
Michael Wigner, interim general manager at Daily Groceries Co-op, says that for a locally owned grocery store, that kind of price increase adds up fast.
In grocery, you might only make a 2 or 3% profit at best. And so you lose 1% to fuel charges.
With margins that thin, even a small spike in fuel costs can force hard decisions.
If we don't raise the grocery prices, then we stand to run a business that's not profitable.
And those decisions don't just affect the store, they impact the people that work there.
There is a significant chunk of whether or not we can give the staff raises.
You probably felt that spike the last time you filled up, but for people whose livelihood depend on driving, the impact is more severe.
It can go up to $200 a week.
Higher gas prices are affecting customer habits.
People don't travel as much because plane tickets are more expensive due to the gas prices.
And with no clear end to the conflict, the uncertainty is only making things harder. Back at the store, Michael believes it's a lose-lose situation.
I'm afraid to raise prices, but I'm also afraid to not raise prices. It's kind of there's no good answer there. It keeps me up at night, to be honest.
Reporting for Grady Newsource, I'm Andrew Otten.
The Georgia Board of Regents has approved tuition increases for the 2026-2027 school year for all 25 Georgia public colleges and universities. In-state undergraduate tuition will rise by 1%, while out-of-state and international students will see a 3% increase. The change is meant to stay below inflation and maintain affordability. This marks just the fourth tuition increase in the past decade for Georgia students. Chancellor Sonny Perdue, who moments ago announced his resignation, stated the system remains focused on limiting financial barriers while enrollment continues to grow.
More university news. Sonny Perdue is stepping down as chancellor of the University System of Georgia. Perdue announced his retirement today, capping more than 4 decades in public service, including time as Georgia's governor and U.S. Secretary of Agriculture. The Board of Regents says it will begin a national search for his replacement. Perdue will remain in the role until a successor is named. More details on the search for the next chancellor are expected in the coming months.
Coming up after the break, 5 mayoral candidates faced off in a full room of Athens-Clarke County voters. We'll have more after the break.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
You're home before sunrise, on top of the house, the kids, and our future. The smell of your cooking is our alarm clock. My Shiro's day is never done. So let's start saving a little more now so we can feel prepared for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give us the personalized tips we need so we can live our lives to the fullest. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
Julie was always a voracious reader. She'd carry 2 novels on an airplane because she'd read one on a 3-4 hour ride. And at some point, I began to notice that she would read a page and couldn't remember what she had just read, and she'd have to go back and read it again.
I don't remember much these days after I read, but less does for me, and I love it.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
Welcome back. Georgia's voting process could be changing soon, and a looming deadline is putting pressure on Governor Kemp and state legislators to finish the job. I spoke with local officials to find out more. Georgia's legislative session ended on April 2nd, leaving several bills unresolved. One of them, Senate Bill 214, could impact future elections. After July 1st, using these to count votes in Georgia elections will be illegal. What does that mean for voters?
So the bill that was passed through the House delayed the removal of the QR codes until 2028 to give election officials time to adjust. Unable to come to a solution for extending the deadline, Senate Bill 214 sits on the governor's desk with the potential to change Georgia's current voting system.
All we're asking them to do is go back into it, extend it. Whatever is in the bill, we can do it if we have the funding, if we have the guidance, if we have anything. And at this point, we have nothing that would allow us to comply with the law.
Last Friday, the Oconee County Board of Elections signed and sent a resolution to Governor Kemp, urging him to call a special legislative session to resolve this issue. On Friday, in fact, I did get a reply from the governor saying that the resolution had been received and he appreciated the input. Now, all eyes are on Governor Kemp as counties across Georgia wait for his decision. For Grady Newsource, I'm Kate Johnson.
WUGA, the University of Georgia's NPR-affiliated public radio station, hosted the Athens mayoral debate on Monday night. Grady Newsource reporter Gabrielle Cutsup covered the event as they prepared for Election Day.
It was standing room only at the mayoral debate on Monday night. WUGA hosted all 5 Athens mayoral candidates in the Athens-Clarke County Library. The candidates include Tim Denson, Dexter Fisher, Lakeisha Gant, Sharon Miller, and Mara Zuniga, who answered questions about how they would handle future Athens policies. The candidates discussed safety, security, and flock cameras, a surveillance system installed throughout Athens to analyze vehicle data. While some candidates were for the cameras,
we the police in charge to keeping overnight editors, uniting the communities, getting on the folks that they're serving, and building relationships.
Others were not convinced.
Concerns about the flock cameras that we are using, corporate camera system that is constantly surveilling all of us, even if you have never committed a crime before at all.
Fisher defended flock camera usage and talked about increasing community policing. Candidates were given the questions in advance on Friday and also spoke of the housing crisis.
And I will look at temporary housing. Yes, it might be a cost, but it is a cost that we must pay.
Need that code enforcement, but simultaneously to get them the resources because they want to get out of this stuff. They want to have a pathway to have success.
All candidates said they oppose the construction of data centers.
Very important that we don't just talk about data centers as a physical building, but having a significant impact on time.
Attendees voiced their concerns as well.
This is something that there's a lot of people that are struggling right now with mortgages, but also with so many taxes that we have. We already have high enough taxes on a federal and state level, but now we're doing it on a local level.
I'm Gabrielle Cutsup, reporting for Grady Newsource.
Election Day is approaching for Athens-Clarke County residents. Advanced voting takes place April 27th through May 15th. Election Day is on May 19th. Advanced voting locations are located throughout Athens. To find specific voting locations and dates, visit accgov.com.
Coming up, stressed with your tax returns? A UGA organization is a helping hand even after the tax deadline today. Find out more after the break.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving.
I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew a girl so smart, so responsible, she must be a keeper.
You know, a lot of people say when you're going somewhere, you don't want to look back. But I beg to differ. For her to see her father celebrate his graduation, it's the best feeling in the world. I can't lie and say it was easy. But sometimes you just have to stop everything and take it in. I looked at everything in a different light. I realized it started with me going back and getting my high school diploma.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right, because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign, not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
There is a road laid out for me.
First night here, but Amy seems cool.
Leading down to the river. I am blind, but I need not see.
What do you think?
I know this road is there for me. If I'm really free, take me down to the river and walk.
Welcome back. It's tax day, and one group of UGA students is making filing a little less taxing for Georgia residents and students. Grady Newsource reporter Connor Joyce joins us live with more.
Thanks, Sonia. I'm right here at the Charles Schwab Financial Planning Center on UGA's campus, where a student volunteer group is helping all Georgia taxpayers file their taxes completely free of charge. Nestled on a quiet quad on UGA's South Campus sits the Charles Schwab Financial Planning Center. Though it looks like a house, inside you're greeted by a different kind of family.
I think it feels like a really small, homey vibe. You get to see these people every single week, and you get to have new clients every single week, and you kind of team bond.
VITA, Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program, is a UGA student-operated service that offers free tax help to any taxpayer in Georgia.
We help people, we give out a free income tax service, and we just help people file their taxes.
Financial planning students go through an IRS certification process in order to help fill out and file their tax forms. VITA estimates that over $1 million were saved on fees in 2025.
It's really important to get that hands-on experience, and we get to look at a lot of real-life scenarios.
VITA reached 387 Georgia zip codes last year, including many in our own backyard. Today is the deadline to file federal income taxes, and the VITA office will be open until 6 p.m., but extensions are available. Back to you in the studio, Sonia and Cade.
Thanks, Connor. A dry spell the past few weeks in Georgia is causing concerns. 98% of the state is in drought conditions, according to federal drought data. We spoke to meteorologist Lily Aldrich about how rare a drought like this is.
So at the moment, we actually haven't had any kind of rain since the last time I checked was March 12th, which, and to put that a little bit into scale, is very, very not normal.
Northeast Georgia residents are feeling the effects of the drought, with a wildfire happening in White County, where 26 acres have been burned on Buzzard Mountain, according to White County Public Safety. The fire is 60% contained.
After the break, we'll hear more about Athens' rising stars, the Rock Lobsters, as they look to make a splash in the playoffs.
Personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
My Shiro doesn't always wear a cape, but she always has time for a hug, a smile, for going the extra mile. My Shiro stretches every dollar, puts in long hours, puts others first. But now it's your time, Mom. When you're ready to retire, we want you to be able to enjoy it. It's time to start saving now. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to start boosting your retirement savings today. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
Welcome back. The Athens Rock Lobsters are looking to make a deep run in the Federal Prospects Hockey League playoffs. Grady sports analysts Jack Cooney and Eli Henderson give us a look at the Rock Lobsters season and what to expect for the playoffs.
Thanks, Kate and Sonia. Jack, let's go ahead and dive into it.
Absolutely, Eli. The Rock Lobsters, in only their second season, have enjoyed a dominant one, locking up the Continental Division with a record of 44-11. That scoring attack led by Gus Ford, 41 goals this season in all 55 games. He leads the team, but only heating up is Rookie of the Month, Joe Mack, who's third on the team in goals. And that defensive unit scintillating as well. Carter Shinkrook is second on the team in goals as a defenseman. And between the pipes, man, goalie of the month, Carter McPhail, a 92% save percentage. He has been electric. And speaking of electric, those fans, they make it loud in there, 125,000 strong throughout the course of the season. So as the Rock Lobsters approach the postseason, Eli, what are we looking out for?
So the first playoff series that the Rock Lobsters are going to play is going to be against the PD Ice Cats, who have finished about a game under 500 in the regular season. This will likely be the easiest matchup. I got the Rock Lobsters going on into the semifinals. They will most likely be playing the other top-seeded team in the division, which is the Monroe Moccasins. On paper, these two teams are almost identical, exact same goal differential, only 95. However, you cannot discount the home ice advantage of Aikens Ford Arena. Absolutely scintillating. 125,000 fans showed up to the past 28 home games. I give a slight advantage to the Rock Lobsters over the Monroe Moccasins just because of that home ice advantage. And finally, for the Commissioner's Cup, it's going to be a tough one likely. Most likely against the Empire's Division's #1 seed, the Binghamton Black Bears, who have been on an absolute tear and playing like a team possessed this year. 166 goal differential to our 95, 48 wins, 8 losses. We're talking major differences here, folks. However, I do think that the Rock Lobsters goalkeeper, Connor McPhail, the April goalkeeper of the month, will defend his home and absolutely shut them out to give the Rock Lobsters their first Commissioner's Cup trophy in only their second year.
Commissioner's Cup in their second year would be some historic stuff for the Lobsters, Eli. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Eli and Jack. G-Day is set for this Saturday at Sanford Stadium in Athens with kickoff at 1 p.m. The University of Georgia's annual spring football game is an inter-squad scrimmage that gives fans an early look at the Georgia football team ahead of the fall season.
Yeah, everybody
Gates will open at 10:30 a.m. Admissions is public, while UGA students are admitted for free. Coming up, a grand opening of a local general store is opening doors to their community in more ways than one. We'll tell you more after the break.
We're going to the playoffs. I can't believe I missed that. Every time I'm buzzed, I spend too much time on my phone. What? I should take your phone away. No. I'll call for a ride. Hey, why does my face look like that?
I'm playing with these new face filters.
Okay, you know what? Yep, that's mine.
I'm gonna need that back.
No.
Kevin!
Welcome back. A follow-up on a story we first brought you earlier this year. Firefly Farm Stop, which also fights food insecurity, is celebrating a major milestone. Reporter Shay Brown brings us more.
A grand opening and keys to the city. Firefly Farm Stop in Winterville is now officially open for business.
I myself can't even really wrap my head around how powerful this little building is. It's our little grocery store, but it's a general store that people haven't had in a very long time.
And it's more than just a store.
The Farm Stop has transformed into a community gathering center where residents and visitors alike can come and get a drink, buy some groceries, and even play some cornhole.
Yes! The grand opening is just one sign of how much Winterville is growing. With the Firefly Trail expected to connect Athens to Winterville soon, even more visitors will be making their way here. And the Farm Stop will be there to meet everyone's food and drink needs.
I think that somehow Winterville has added like another 0 on the end of its population this morning. It's crazy how many people are out here.
The trail yet.
I know, but it's coming, it's coming.
But even as more people come in, longtime residents say what makes Winterville special hasn't changed. It's still a place where people know each other, show up for one another, and take pride in the sense of community they've built.
It has so many people that care really, really deeply. It's just like a really small town with a really big heart.
The Farm Stop is an offshoot of the Marigold Collective, a nonprofit dedicated to providing the public a marketplace for local produce and pantry items. The Farm Stop was previously located in the old bank building downtown, but has since moved to its current location in a renovated 1800s blacksmith shop. With a new location, the Firefly Farm Stop is continuing its mission, bringing fresh food and a sense of community under one roof. Reporting for Grady Newsource, I'm Shay Brown.
G-Day, International Fest, and the Twilight Bike Race are all happening around downtown Athens this weekend. Three-time winner Alexis Magner, who is recovering from a serious cycling injury, will not compete in the Twilight Bike Race this year, but her sister will. These events are expected to draw large crowds, so be prepared if you're heading downtown.
And that's all for tonight. I'm Kay Johnson.
And I'm Sonia Cabbage.
Good night.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
You're home before sunrise, on top of the house, the kids, and our future. The smell of your cooking is our alarm clock. My Shiro's day is never done. So let's start saving a little more now so we can feel prepared for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give us the personalized tips we need so we can live our lives to the fullest. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
Julie was always a voracious reader. She'd carry 2 novels on an airplane because she'd read one on a 3-4 hour ride. And at some point, I began to notice that she would read a page and couldn't remember what she had just read, and she'd have to go back and read it again.
I don't remember much these days after I read, but less does for me, and I love it.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
For
All right. Well, first of all, final show. How are we feeling after our final show? Woo! Yeah. We had a lot of news. We have a lot of birthdays. Can we give some birthday shout outs to Connor, who's at his live shot, and Lindsay. And thank you, Lindsay's dad, for sending the cookies. We really enjoyed them. Our favorite fan, one of our favorite fans. We don't want to play favorites. We have game balls. I did not get the tech team game balls. I'm so sorry. We're going to have to vote on those. We'll do it in a minute. We had many game balls, so we do a game ball before we get to our special guests. Our game ball, we had a lot of votes. We had Shay, Gabby, Anna, and several others, but we know this is a team sport. You all get a game ball in my heart. But the game ball tonight goes to Anna Skull. Tech team, I'm going to get your votes, and we're going to come at the end of the show, so everyone's going to have to wait. It's a tease because I messed up, but we'll just make it a tease now. And now, without further ado, we have our special guests here. We have Professor Dodi Cantrell Bickley, who emeritus. But we drag her back, and I'm so thankful. I've gotten to learn so much from her. She has done Newsource. How long did you do Newsource?
A decade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you live to tell.
Yeah. Because it's the most fun ever. And you obviously have a great class, as evidenced by this show.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh, can't wait to hear more. And we have Dr. Denitra Walker. Thank you, Dr. Walker, for coming. Amazing. You all know, both have storied careers, and I want you to talk about that. I'm going to exit the stage here. I want you to talk about your careers, what you've done, what teaching, all that too, but just your careers in broadcast news, because this is just really special to have them both here. So take it away. And any advice you have after those careers.
Do we talk about Ben Hoover or how small the world is?
Oh my gosh. So we need to send this to him too. I'm just playing.
We were just talking about the fact that Denitra worked a long time in the business. I worked a while in the business. And this business is very small. And this is important for y'all to remember. You meet the same people coming down as you did going up. Be nice to everybody. And know that we will talk. And that's how you get jobs. That's how you lose jobs. Anyway. So about you, Dr. Walker, give us the scoop.
Okay. So I think I mentioned this a couple of times to some of you all, and maybe not all, but my background, of course, is in broadcast journalism. I worked in television news for many years. I walk around. Y'all know I walk around. I worked in television news for many years, behind the scenes. I call myself the behind the scenes queen. Okay, you put me on camera, that's why I'm trying to slide out this frame. You put me on camera and I shrink, right? But no, worked in television news. I've worked in everywhere from Beaumont, Texas, to Las Vegas, to, not in this order, to Augusta, Georgia, and all of these different places. And most of my time was doing a lot of production stuff. Like I was mainly a producer, and I did a lot of things in production. So essentially everything that's in that control room and outside, like when y'all were cheering, I was like, oh, we needed that in the newsroom. I was like, a whole cheer squad. That's excellent. But just a little bit of everything, right? Everything from running cameras, master control, being a producer. I've produced every newscast you can think of. But with that said, it was great being in here because, as many of you know, I'm a researcher now. So I essentially research the experiences of journalists who are doing this work, mainly in broadcast. So yeah, it was great to be here, and small world, like Dodi said, extremely small. I'll tell y'all this: when you come into television news, I tell people it's the same stuff, different toilet. Y'all like, what? No. Essentially, you roll with the punches, right? When things go wrong, you don't have time to think about, oh, it's wrong, what has happened? No, you have to jump into action and make it right. So I saw that we had a couple of things here and there today, but it was great to see you all be resilient and run through it. because I'm telling you, in the real world, everything is going to happen. This was just a tryout, right? Which is great, live tryouts. But when I tell you, I think I mentioned it the other day when I popped in, I've started shows with no video, I've started shows with no anchors, I've started shows where you name the situation, it has happened, right? So it's great to be able to think on your feet, get this work done, and telling y'all this real world experience is really what matters. I think I've been talking for a while. Am I supposed to go into the critique, or are you supposed to talk?
You go right ahead, and then I'll pop in.
Well, I want you to, you can talk a little bit, because I feel.
Producer. Yeah. Where, you. Take Dr. Walker. Go.
Oh, stay on me? Okay. Well, here's my list. I'm just kidding. No. No, y'all, it's a joke. It's a joke. So overall, I want to say the production quality of your work looks fantastic. Like, I just want to tell you, like, the framing of your shots, the lighting, the production quality, the editing. I heard nat sounds in the packages. Like, those are things that I am working with my reporting 3 and 4 students on. But these are things that in the real world, we're constantly trying to get journalists to do. Like, so you, believe it or not, these stories look better than some of the ones I had in my newscast. Yeah, I said it. And I hope y'all heard it. No, okay. So, but with that said, the production quality, like the framing, those things that you're taught in these classes, it really, really matters, because when you're putting the story together, you don't want to distract or detract from the story with the production quality, right? Like, I can't see something, or I can't hear something, or the shot is shaky. So I don't know what they're shooting on, but it looks good. You know, there were a couple of shots here and there, but overall the production quality was looked really, really great. So I want to commend you all on the work there. I would say the types of stories that you all did, it is very evident that you all had an opportunity to really talk through what the stories were, the angles, who you were going to talk to, and as well as some of the main parts of the story that you wanted to get across to your audience. I think that was excellent, and I will tell you right on that this did not feel like, oh, it's a student newscast. This felt like a newscast, and I think that is what you want to do. On top of that, you know, with like how you had the back-to-back stories with the turning point story at the top, and then we went into protest, which you all know is one of my favorite things to talk about. Well, you may not know that, but Google me. No, but I thought it was responsibly done, and then I thought you all were very thoughtful in how the breakout story coming out of that, how many vice presidents and or sitting presidents are coming into the city, or the city of Athens. I thought that was very thoughtful, and I think, for the most part, it tells me that you all are sitting around, bouncing ideas off of each other, and really working hard to get into the meat and potatoes of the story. Anybody vegan? Don't raise your hand. We don't have to know. But I say meat and potatoes a lot, so if you want to replace meat with tofu, that is your business, okay? But the meat and potatoes of the story, which means we're getting to the foundation, which means we're actually getting quality, and I think quality is super important. Along with a lot of the stories here, one thing I will remind you all, there is never a perfect story to lead a newscast. That's the great thing about a diversity of thought. We all have multiple ideas of what is the most important or the most timely or the most newsworthy. So I do like the way you all opened up. Some things that I wanted to sort of point out. When we are putting a two-shot, I don't want to call out our producer. I'm a producer, okay? And I call myself the producer whisperer, okay? Because I've trained producers for many years. Doesn't mean I'm trying to do it anymore, but I would like to remind you all, there is a purpose for everything when you come on camera, okay? If there is a two-shot, there is a reason why it's two, not one, right? If there's a two-shot, then two people should be speaking. If we come to a two-shot and one person is speaking, then that two-shot serves no purpose. And we did that a few times. So if it is, if the sentence is not long enough, or you all don't have a lot of banter going back and forth, then we may want to reconsider how many times we put two shots in. So I don't know if that was a production thing because we don't necessarily say on our rundown if it is a 2-shot or if it's a 1-shot. It's probably, I don't see it in the rundown, but it could be impromptu. I don't know that answer right now. So that's just something to think about because it also gives the other anchor, y'all know that awkward look where they're like staring at each other and then they look back and it kind of cuts down on that. So if you have them on a 2-shot, you want to go into the second sentence of having someone being able to have something to say. That's just something to think about. And also with like some of our readers, I thought that we didn't have like a lot of readers, which is something I think is good. But our OTSs, I don't know how that works. Yeah, so the OTS, the words on them, that's what I mean when I say there's like, they're supposed to have words on them, or what does that say at the bottom? Because on that OTS that I saw, it was one, it was Sonny Perdue. Is that a credit? What is that? I couldn't see from where I was. So it's a credit?
I think it was a photo credit, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. So we don't have words on the OTSs?
Not like, what do you mean, like?
So we, okay, so, yeah, so, yeah. So when we use.
Oh, not for Sunday, no.
So I'm asking, okay, so the words were, that was a photo courtesy.
Credit. Yeah,
photo
courtesy.
credit. Oh, okay, I couldn't see where I was. So we don't put words on them, is that?
Tell us what you would do with OTS.
Yeah, so if you have an OTS over the shoulder, right, there's a purpose for that. And typically, when you're working as a producer and you're putting a story together, if you put an OTS on, there's a purpose for that. And typically, you would have some sort of label that is identifying what the story is, right? And so that's what I meant when I said, are there words on them? Because I was not necessarily familiar. Whether we could do that or not here.
I guess I'd have to see an example, like what would you put for that Sony like what would you put? Would you put just his name, his title, or
you mentioned, yeah, that's an excellent question. You said that he was resigning?
Yeah.
I would put resigning. Like, or stepping down, right? So there's an action, right? There's a reason. So one thing about me is that with live television, like, we're always on. I'm always ready to move things. I will bleed out an entire show. We will go live. I mean, I want you all to think, what is now? What is happening? If he's resigning, and that's happening now, and this is some of the newest information into the newsroom, to me, that also brings up the urgency. When did he make the announcement? I'm not sure.
Hunter. Today.
So now that feels buried, right? So I think with something like an OTS, if we have the ability to add words, if someone is walking by their television, they should be able to look and go, oh, resigning, stepping down. Like they should be able to see the action in real time. I know you can't put a whole lot of words on there, but 2 words, 1 word, or something to that extent. Otherwise, we're looking at a picture of someone and we don't know what that story is about when it comes to them.
Okay, yeah, we'll definitely work on that. I know we don't really have branding style for that right now, but we can definitely like look into like examples from other news stations.
Yeah, no, that's excellent. And but I also like the fact that you added that, right? Like you could have just been a reader. We could have been staring at our lovely anchors, which is great. But it's also nice to have something visual. There's a reason why we are a visual medium, where we are able to show something in the physical and have that example. So yeah, that was one of my questions that I had about like the graphics. And I also want to ask, why did we put our live shot in the, was it C block? Was it B block?
Yeah, it was C block, top of C. I did have a hard time stacking the show just because I felt like there was a lot of important stuff. So I didn't really know like how to order it, but I just felt like I had the turning point, and then I didn't really want to put like taxes in that block because it felt really weird. And then I had the election, which covers all of Northeast Georgia, and then I have taxes, which, yes, covers everyone, but that obviously center is only accessible for people who live near it. So that's kind of my decision process.
Yeah.
Tax days today, live shot. We could do a live shot there, but, you know, I just thought the other stories had more of an impact, wider audience-wise.
Okay. I tell people all the time, again, there's never one right answer. There's multiple, right? There's a multitude of answers. And as long as you have your purpose and your reason, that's really what matters. All of us in here, we were all to put together a show. We could all look at it differently and tackle it differently. One thing that I would add is there was a time element in that story where, if I'm not mistaken, we said have until 6 o'clock. Am I making that up? Did anyone else hear that?
Yes, that center closes at 6 p.m. today.
Okay. Are y'all following me where I'm going?
Mm-hmm.
That is a time urgency thing. So now you're telling people, oh, you got about 20 minutes when you could have told them at least 15 minutes earlier, right? So the urgency there, so when you're thinking about newsworthiness, you're thinking of like, yes, who it affects, but we're also thinking about what's happening now. And if someone wanted to do something, now their time is ticking. At the very least, there should be some urgency to tell someone something with a time element. That is just something to consider. It doesn't mean it's wrong. I don't want you to ever feel that way. In fact, being a producer is one of the toughest, most rewarding things. I love it so much. And yeah, just to think about some of those elements. But I really thought like the way you all stacked the show, it was really great. Like I said, a lot of great content. You were gonna say something?
No. I will say with the time element, we didn't find out they were open until 6 tonight until we got there. They had originally told us they were gonna be closed until at 5 p.m. like they normally were.
Okay.
And when we got there to set up the live shot, we found out they were still accepting walk-ins until 6 p.m.
Okay.
So that was on, I didn't communicate that in time.
Yeah, and those type of communication things are gonna happen, right? They happen all the time. So it's just something to think about. Let me see what else I have. I have a couple of other notes here, but overall, I just wanna tell you all, I love how supportive you all are with each other, and keep up the good work.
Yeah, you guys are really good. I agree with Denitra about being a producer. It is the most fun job ever. I'm Dodie Cantrell. I spent about 40 years in the business. I started off as an anchor, which I so didn't want to do, but I'm really old. I'm 70, and so back then, like, they weren't hiring women, and they could only conceive you as like an anchor. And so I said, oh, I'll be a reporter, and they're like, sweetie, it's too dangerous for you out there. We just keep you in the studio. So I worked trying to get off the anchor desk. I know a lot of you were working toward it, but that was just a stultifyingly dull job for me. But it's great for many others. I frankly really enjoyed my sweet spot and my strength was finding people who were a whole lot better than me and then hiring them and then sitting back going, I did that. Yeah. That's my idea of fun. So started as an anchor, then got to become a reporter. Couldn't report at night because it's too dangerous for a woman to report at night. I kid you not. And then I always felt like if I had that job, I could do it better. If I had that job, I would do it better. So I'll be a producer, and I love that. That was the best. And then I thought, you know, I'm going to be the executive producer. They have more power. And then I went, oh, God, I can't do anything. That news director's breathing all over me. I'm going to be the news director, because he's doing everything wrong and I'll do everything right. What a joke. If only I could have been as good as my predecessor. And then I still didn't feel like I had enough say, so I said, I'll just go to the dark side and become the president and general manager. And so I did. At that time, there weren't a lot of women in there, so that was a whole heap of fun sometimes. And then I did this at WMAC, and then I left, and then I was the president and general manager of the NBC and the ABC affiliates in Jacksonville, Florida. This all happened at a time when we were going through the digital transition. So I was watching Relitza Vasilova the other day, and she talked about, you know, what was her most proud moment. And I was thinking about it because She's from Bulgaria, and I think my most proud moment was when the Iron Curtain fell. I got to go train Bulgarian journalists, and there was a Bulgarian journalist who came in, and she said, I don't understand my story. Our parliament just passed something called a Federal Freedom of Information Act. I said, are you kidding me? That is the most incredible thing ever. Free at last, you know, the whole thing. She couldn't understand the concept, and I remember when I was writing my report on the training, I said, you're going to have to really overcome some mental, communism did a number on people. And you're going to have to overcome the concept. I said, it means you go ask the government and you say, I demand to see this because it belongs to me. And she said to me, she goes, no, the government tells me what to do. I don't tell the government what to do. And I really struggled a lot with that mindset. That was a really important day. And then another one, and this is eminently forgettable, and I have forgotten it. And I just share this with you because before I start on everything else, be confident in yourselves and who you are, what you are, and what you bring to the table. Don't look side to side, up or down at anybody else. You're not them, you're you. You have something unique to give. But understand, and the word give is important, understand that what you are doing is giving. It really is not about you at all. And if you'll keep your eyes on that, you will do great work. You're there to truly, truly serve people. Which means you have to take care of yourself. So the most horrible moment, I think, was almost stepping on a landmine. That was actually just a stupid moment. I didn't step on it. So that was good, but I shouldn't have had to be told, don't go out in that field. Oh, okay. This was in Kosovo. But the worst was being a media witness for an execution. And this was when they had the electric chair in Georgia. And I will say I cannot remember anything about it because my brain won't let me. I look now at the resources that are available to you all to take care of yourselves. Please recognize that what you're doing, I mean, it's fun. It is the best job in the world. I think it's the most important job in the world. And I have evidence when the president has a problem with an attorney, he doesn't say hashtag fake attorney. When he has a problem with a plumber, he doesn't say hashtag fake plumber. But he will say hashtag fake news. We must be super important. And you are. And your job is. But you see, you're there on the worst day of people's life and sometimes the best day of people's lives. Take care of yourself, okay? So I would leave you with that. Now, Dodie Downer is what they call me. Let me share a couple of things. I'm going to give you a couple of higher level notes because I think you're really ready for it. I mean, that was an excellent show. It was. Really, really good. And I agree with Dr. Walker on the news judgment. I mean, if you're a great producer, you can tap dance your way through anything and put it together any way you like. So who's the producer? Oh, Gabby, it was you? Okay, Gab. A couple of things. You know the Sonny Perdue stuff? Where's Jade, Cade? I know, here we go again. I was trying to think of other things, but that's the only one. Right. So Cade went, Sonia. So Sonia said something about Sonny Perdue, and then you said Sonny Perdue. And it was like you hadn't heard her mention him. So be alert and aware of what's going on. There was a two-shot, remember the crosstalk that Dr. Walker was talking about? That would have been an opportunity. And so Gabby, when you're looking at the rundown, try to produce those moments. Look, the best moments. I mean, I'm all about anchors with 20 years experience, maybe trying to do a little crosstalk, but crosstalk can be dangerous. It can be. But if you know your subject, great. But if you can produce that moment, that can work too for a two-shot, and it gives your two-shot some purpose. I loved your stand-up with the QR code and you pointing to it. Your stand-ups to demonstrate or illustrate. Who did the Turning Point story? Okay. Yes, loved all the video referencing, the stand-ups, everything. Demonstrate, illustrate. And I heard you guys got like an exclusive interview. That's so cool. Think about advancing your stories, guys. This is a real advanced thing I'm going to tell you, okay? When news happens, and Dr. Walker mentioned this, what's new, what's now, what's next? Okay, Sonny Perdue resigned. What time did he do that? 4, 3, 2, 1, I don't know, but it was earlier. It wasn't like right this moment. So what's happening right at this moment with that story? Who wrote Sonny Perdue? Oh, Hunter, right? I watched you anchor the other day. You have talent. Anyway, you really do. What a great presence and just a mellifluous voice. I love that word. Anyway, yeah, so. right? I believe. So when you were writing that, when you think about, okay, he resigned, but what's happening with that story right now? Any thoughts other than that? You mentioned it in the story.
The connection that it had to the tuition. Basically, we started with the tuition.
Right.
Story. And then after that, that's when we found out that he resigned. So, yes.
Well, we won't assume. But think about it. You mentioned in your story that the job would be open, right?
Correct.
People are going to apply for that job. You ever wanted the top dog spot in the university system of Georgia? It's open to you. That's what's happening right now. People are going to be applying for that job. And it's because Sonny Perdue's out, quit, whatever. Does that make sense? So if you think about your stories in that way, your news director will never say, that's old news, because there's always a new angle, right? So think about that. Gas story. Who did the gas story? So I loved your story. Think about video referencing. Some of you did really great on that, but you had like the apples and the lemons. You know, what might have been interesting, I loved your stand-up a lot. Might have been interesting if you had perhaps compared these apples and lemons cost this today. Hey, what did they cost last week? Well, I had to raise the price on those, but not as much as the price here. If you compare and contrast, would let you illustrate or demonstrate something a little bit more. Though you did do a good job of demonstrating, hey, I'm putting gas in my car. And it was fine, but it's a little expected.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So really think about, you know, how many of you have ever come back and said, I don't have any video for my story? Anybody?
Oh, come on.
Oh, you're writing the wrong story. Of course you have video for your story. Start writing your stories with, what's my best video and how can I write to that? Where's the cornhole student? Okay, so your stand-up. At first, I thought, oh my God, that's cheese. Until, I mean, it was kind of precious, but it was awesome. It was awesome because, did you edit that? You edited that? God dang, you're a good editor.
He is.
The cornhole, you know, when the bag hit the thing, boom. And then when you went, oh, that made it human, normal, and not precious. It was excellent. But it's that combination of using the magic of television, which brings me to a close. Magic of television. Let me just call it the magic of video, because honestly, TV, it's great. We have a terrific muscle. You know, we know how to tell visual stories, and visuals count. The cavemen drew pictures. They didn't write words. They drew pictures. And you guys are social media people, right? You know that video has to get you. Don't be afraid to lean into your little social media selves. Think about what attracts you and use that on television. Lean into the more relaxed verbiage, as long as it's accurate and clean. Lean into talking to your friend. If you're on social media, you don't stand back and go, this blah, 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 blah. You lean into stuff and you say, God, you're not gonna believe this. And you say stuff like, take a look at this video. Take a look at these apples. They're $1.05 now. Last week you could have gotten them for a nickel. Does that make sense to you? Sonia and Cade, do y'all hate each other? No. So a little trick on television, just a little trick. Sit like this so that your body, keep your shoulders, move your body like this, put your shoulders like this. Your body language will tell the viewer that you all are like simpatico and together, okay? It'll do that. It also makes you look a little more 3D instead of like, hey. Does that make sense?
And it's just really noticeable with the two-shot. Like, when y'all on the two-shot, it's like, like you're going to talk because I don't have a line, you know?
Yep.
And it's like...
Nervous because of the switch between... Because we were this show and this last week, we've been working with like doing the ISO and then doing the two-shot. I think we were just nervous about it.
You guys were
Y'all did
great.
good.
You were
Y'all
great.
did very well.
But what the point I'm making is it was the visual that made you look separated. And just a turn of the body and like this can go a long way. Clean show. Sound bites were nice and short. Producers, you guys have the power. And you've got this room full of stars. Think about what each one has and then look to see how you can elevate that. So you had a story The vice president story, who did that? Oh my God, I love that story. You told me something I didn't know. You know, news is predictable. You know, by the time you get here, I've seen that same story 50,000 times. Never heard that. It was so cool. You're a powerful on-camera person. Producer, you know this about him. An idea, I'm not saying this is the right thing to do. I'm just saying think of magic moments that are memorable. He had a memorable story. I might have stuck him in the studio. I might have put him, I hate green screens too, but I might have put him in front of a green screen, and I might have had an overlay of all the VIPs and presidents that have visited go, so that when he asked, you know, has a vice president, big old Vance thing, you know, has a vice president ever visited before? Yeah, and the presidents. And then when you go to your story, it's eye candy. It tells people something, though. A lot of heavy-duty folks have visited Dog World, right? So producers, think about where you might literally produce magic moments. And guys, every one of you has the potential to be a star if that's what you want in whatever realm. So you think about your story and how you're going to make your story be the memorable moment in the newscast. Where's Batgirl? The bats. Oh my God, just have to say, I love that story. That was some of the stories you guys are doing I've not seen before. Now I'm pretty jaded old news battle axe or news bat. But I know, I think I'm hysterical. But I thought that was terrific, and I was expecting, oh, that bat's so gross. And then when you went to the little bat house, I'm going, oh, I love the bats.
Thank you.
Honestly, Anchor, the tuition increases. So when you think, how can I be a memorable moment? How can I make myself a star? Then you go to your producer and go, you know, I'm thinking tuition increases, show them wallpaper at the library. Perhaps I took the liberty of looking up our tuition increases for the last 3 years, and it is an exponential graph, and I would like to be off the set to show my little graph. Okay, so just think about that. Make yourself magic.
We did need a graphic for that because we were talking about it, and people need to see it.
Anyway, I love this show. I thought it was terrific. I think you guys are terrific. And I think each of you, if even just watching that, if I had to, you know, say what your superpower is, I think I could probably do that. Because that's why I became a general manager, because I couldn't do anything. But I was great at finding people who could do everything.
That's what's up.
I love it, and we're just at time. Thank you. I just want to say there were whispers over here like, oh my God, they're iconic. So to the two of you, iconic. Our final game ball, I'm just going to do a quick pass to Sabrina, the tech team. Yeah, Sabrina and Blakely, the whole tech team, Shad, Maddie, we had so many others. Andrew, Todd, who had the new graphic too for the, we want to thank Andrew. He's in there. Great last show. Thank you both so much for coming. Thank you for the great feedback. And we're out of time, but we're not out of time. We're going to have some Q&A in the newsroom with you if you guys have a little time. But to our viewers at home, what do we say to our viewers at home? Thank you. And thank you to Lindsay's dad for the cookies again. All right, good job.